Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Tales of the Grimoire, Episode 5, Clan Grimoire's semi-not-so-regular podcast. I'm Basement 45, the Clan Media Manager. With me tonight we have Bahamut Zero.
Hey everybody.
And we have some special guests that we usually can't get on because they are located across the planet. We have King Dreary with us.
Hello.
We have Kreitcha.
Hello.
And we have everybody's favorite Aussie, B-Rock.
Hello, people.
Bella is my favorite Aussie, just so we're clear.
I should say.
All right, so one of the things about our clan that's kind of interesting is we actually have a fairly large contingent of Australians, funny enough. Latest stats look like it's almost as high as 20% of the clan are up there, which is pretty good numbers for a North American-based gaming clan. So, V-Rock, can you talk happen?
What's that?
Did you miss that there, V-Rock?
Yeah, what'd you say? I missed that. It cut out there for a second.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, just wondering if you could talk a little bit about how you think we ended up with so many of you guys in our clan.
I don't know. When I first joined DoD, it was obviously during the beta, and when the beta started, I joined. I think it was Foxtrot to start with. You're right, sweetie. It was Foxtrot to start with, and then because I had like pretty much no one on my friends list, I just started adding random people, and I think I ended up adding like 100 or so people, and I ended up playing with quite a few of them, and it just sort of worked out that a couple of them here and there were Aussies. I think King Drew was one of them. I think Baja was another, and then I started playing with a couple of randoms, and I don't know, it just sort of kind of all fell into place when I found out that the Grimoire was going to be a PvE concentrated one. Because I'm not very good at PvP, I sort of thought, well, that might not be a bad idea. And then when I ended up joining the Grimoire Dad to Destiny, it just sort of worked out that there was a few Aussies in there, and then a couple more started to show up. And so I don't know. I don't think it was anything amazingly interesting. Like, I mean, it was nothing on my part. I think it was just kind of a few Aussies that were already in the Grimoire clan even before I joined it, I think.
I'll give you permission to tell them about our plan to take over the world. It's okay if they know. They're going to find out.
Yeah.
Well, we're not allowed to, because you're not allowed to bring foreign species to other countries, so we can't sort of. It's hard for us to bring drop bears to other countries, so.
Part of it, I think, had to do with how much fun our Saturday and Sunday group that King and Brock and I have been part of since last September. We just always seem to have a few Australians that would jump in with us for a raid, whether it be somebody that King knew or B-Rock knew or something like that. And after they would raid with us once or twice, they were hooked. So I don't know. I think part of it has something to do with how awesome that group is on Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah. So what got you in, King?
I was originally in, again, I joined a DoD clan just after the beta when everything was forming up. And someone got on to me, and because there was that point where you joined up and they kicked everyone out of the set clans, and then you had to re-sign up.
Yep.
So in that period, when everyone got kicked out, someone approached me on the forums and went, well, there's this clan Grimoire, and it's going to be focused on PvE stuff, and it's also, we're planning to raid in hours that would be suitable for your time zone.
Yeah.
I can't remember who that was, but I went, yeah, all right then.
Sounds good.
I think the time zone is the biggest thing. Like when, as King just said, when they kicked everyone out, quite a few of us tried to join Grimoire, and just as we started to play, we sort of just know, obviously the Americans play in our mornings and we play in our night time, so it's like you were fairly certain that the majority of the people that you played with at night time were Aussies, apart from the odd American that works night shifts and things like that plays in our evenings and their mornings, but just kind of fell into place.
Yep. Hey, Creature, how'd you find your way in?
Good question. Let's see. I was like a lone wolf for the first until most of the Dark Below had passed, and I caught up with Eggers over Facebook. I finally linked my PSN to Facebook, and it sent him a notification, and I got on and played with him. I think we were playing the mission where Omnigul is down in the bunker, and we knocked the ogre out, and he said, "Yeah, come raid sometime," and I said, "Yeah, cool." So I jumped on, and there were all these Australians, and I'd only ever played with randoms, and they were either Japanese because local to me, and I'd wave to them in the tower or whatever. Or Americans who I'd met over Reddit, and once again the odd time zones and things. And then all of a sudden I was playing with a group of Aussies, and I think the first game I played, they kind of said, I think it was probably B-Rock, said, "So is this Eggers? Is this the new recruit for our clan?" I said, well shit. I don't know what kind of strings are attached or anything, but sounds good to me. So yeah, the rest is history.
Yeah, good stuff. Yeah,
It stuck with us.
Yeah. So just catching up a little bit from the chat here. Frag is taking credit for pulling Kane in, and that was back when he actually used to recruit, as he pointed out, and not just sit around and slack off. Iggy is saying that Creature does not look Japanese at all. And Frag would also like to point out that B-Rock has an Outback polo. The gig is up.
I was hoping no one had noticed my sheep shearing jumper.
Yeah. So, B-Rock, one of the things we wanted to do tonight was talk about drop bears. Could you tell us about some of the tragic moments you've had with drop bears?
Oh, do you want to tell the story, sweetie, or can I tell it? So you're not going to let me talk this
That's
morning,
what it sounds like when they lock you, by the way. That was
to forgive my little one. She's managed to start finding her lungs within the last month or two. Don't push the red button. You push the red button. No, what are you doing?
Got it.
Loves the little red button.
Oh boy.
Drop bears. Well, the first time I found out about drop bears was actually when I was back in school, because the school that I went to was an international school. So we had Japanese, Koreans, Chinese, Taiwanese, people from nearly every country in the world. By the time I finished school, I'd met nearly one person from every country in the world, and someone made up a joke about drop bears one day to one of the Japanese exchange students, and they started telling him, whenever you're walking near trees and everything, make sure you're looking up. Like, don't walk too close under trees, and be careful when you're walking through dense forest and all that sort of stuff. And I asked, "Oh, why is that?" And they said, "Oh, it's because of drop bears." And they said, "What's a drop bear?" And they Googled it. It's a picture of like a koala with like shark teeth and raptor claws and all this sort of stuff. And as Creature probably knows, the Japanese girls just started freaking out. They're all running around going, "Ah!" running around crazy. And then ever since then, the more exchange students that kept coming asking, "What are these drop bears we keep hearing about?" And it just sort of kept going on from there. I mean, all the exchange students and everything were kind of scared of walking through the gardens in the school and everything because they were worried about drop bears.
Excellent.
Was there a grade that they finally realized the truth by?
What's that?
Like, were they able to figure out the truth before they graduated, for God's sake?
No, not as far as I knew, anyway. Not as far as I knew. What?
Got a happy little kid there, B-Rock.
Yeah, for the moment.
Yeah. That's the truth, isn't it?
They really had me going on drop bears for like a solid month, by the way.
It's not bad for a grown man.
I'm still trying to convince Wolf that drop bears exist, and I'm having a hard time. I think with the someone posted this morning that the Australian museums put up a post, or not a post, put up a thing on their website about drop bears and facts about drop bears and all that sort of stuff. I googled it this morning. I googled facts about drop bears, and it came up with the Australian Museum website. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting.
That's evil, man.
and I started reading it, and I'm like, wow, they actually went to a lot of detail with it. I mean, I thought it'd be just something to stir people, but no, there's a full-on species page, drop bear species page for them.
That's really messed up that the museum does that. That's really
like their feeding habits and their breeding habits and where they live and
the only good thing about it. The only good thing about it is it gives me more cover for actually thinking they were real for a month.
Yeah.
In New South Wales at the moment, there's this endangered species of marsupial mouse, and they're called Antechinus. And part of the reason that they're endangered is that their breeding pattern is, when it's the season, the males get like overwhelmed with stress hormone, and basically they go at it until they die.
Wow.
So every year at the breeding season, the male population dies out. And would you believe they're an endangered species now?
Go figure.
That's a lot of fuck.
Death by sex, wouldn't that suck?
Across the whole population.
Yeah, they're specific to that northern New South Wales area. But when you've got stuff like that actually going on, drop bears isn't that much of a stretch.
Yeah. I've had a couple of close calls with, spiders that can literally kill a person and snakes that can literally kill a person, all that. So,
what percentage of the animals over there are trying to kill you?
It
depends on your psychological condition. But
there was a thing a while back. There's a standard Australian saying that 7 out of the 10 world's deadliest animals all live in Australia. So why the hell would you want to go and live there?
Well, it's beautiful for one, right? Beaches and whatnot.
Well, with the rate at which people die, there's plenty of space.
Yeah. I don't
know. There's plenty of space, but not a whole lot of it's habitable.
I don't know if it's because of what we see on television or whatever, but the Australian female population seems quite lovely. I'll go with that. How about that? Yeah. I
haven't met much Australians yet, have you, then, Baha?
I'm just saying what we see on
ones
television.
they show on TV.
Bates, can you confirm to me that the way that we're made to see Australian women is that they're all like roughly 23 and surfing?
Yeah, no. Don't get too comfy with that one, Baha.
Okay.
I think
that's
you
what we're
stop
showing on
leaning towards
television.
all Australians are nice. I think you'll get further with that.
They're all able to go out, drink a beer, kill an animal, cook it, and then go surfing, all while wearing a size 2. It's all fairly impressive from what we see on television.
Tell the time by looking at the sun and all that.
Oh, yeah. There's nothing y'all can do that they can't do.
I hear that Texans are really peace-loving and knowledgeable.
Who the hell told you that?
I don't know about being knowledgeable.
A lot of them have a small armory waiting to kill you with, so I don't know. I find that hard to believe.
I have family in the States, and I went over there right when Terminator 2 was out when I was about 10. And, of course, everyone boys my age were just wild about Arnie's shotgun pump in the air.
Yeah.
And we went to the house of this uncle, and we went down into his basement, and it was like Sarah Connor's armory. He'd only let us play with the air rifles, but even still, there were about 15 of them, and we could choose, what action we wanted on the air rifle and all that. But man, yeah, gun laws can really change a place.
Or lack thereof, either way, right?
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Well,
yeah.
when you compare America to Australia, I think our gun laws are actually extremely strict.
Oh, I think that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right.
And I live in one of the stricter states in the country.
I thought the US gun laws were strict. You have to have one.
I have.
Otherwise, you don't stand a chance. In fact, yeah, while we're on the topic, my aunt used to carry a 22 in her purse.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like Destiny hand cannon size, this thing.
It's an Eagle.
That's it. And it was a freaking 22.
Yeah, no, my missus won't let me get a gun.
Yeah, Frag wants to know if knives are fair game in Australia, though.
That's not a knife.
Say it. This is a knife. Come on, I'm waiting for it. Do it.
This is a knife.
There we go. Thank you.
You're not allowed to have a real switchblade in Australia. You can have a butterfly knife with the flippy action.
With the flippy action.
Mm-hmm. But you're not allowed to have a switchblade.
The old flippy.
That's how you know somebody's dangerous, when they start doing the flippy with the knife.
Yeah, well, that's it.
Training.
And then they jam their finger in it.
I'm sure.
I wouldn't know much about knives, mate. I've got a kitchen knife, and that's about it.
Butter or steak. That's pretty much my knowledge of knives.
Nice.
Yeah. So, one of the things I've always been interested in, Creature, is how did you actually end up in Japan?
Oh, good question. Let me see. I used to do it at uni, or at college, if you like. The language, always been a kind of languages guy. Got into computer languages a little bit while I was at university as well. This is the one that paid off. I mean, I got 2 scholarships while I was at university. They let me study over here for a year for free, paid my airfares and all that.
Lucky bastard.
Yeah. And I was working in Australia after college, and then I just thought, well, shit, I'll go and give it a try. I got the language and came over, and I'll just revisit the beginning of my Destiny career, actually, my recent online gaming history. I had no idea that you could play across, around the world with such good latency. So I was looking, at the Japanese groups on Bungie.net and all of that, and trying to track down people to play with. And then one day I played with a Canadian guy living in Japan, and we went and raided with a full group of Americans, and I'm like, how is this possible? I had no idea that technology could cater to that. So, I'm here in body, but when I'm online, I'm just like, I'm just one of the rest of you. It's like,
well, half the time you got a better connection than Baja does.
Oh, sure. He's in Japan. where they actually use like public money to fund public works. I'm in Texas, where it's
Don't
all.
you guys have? Don't
it's
you guys
all-
have Google Fiber in Texas?
Maybe in some parts, but not in Dallas yet, unfortunately.
Right. Big state.
Oh my God, I cannot wait though.
Yeah.
I'm imagining in Japan there's like a giant robot that flies around laying cable everywhere.
I heard that.
Right? An army.
No, Godzilla, mate. Godzilla runs around with the cabling in his hand. Roll the cabling in one, and he's pulling the cabling out with the other hand.
My brother was telling me yesterday that the US has challenged Japan to a robot fight a year from now.
I just saw that with some big giant robot thing.
Awesome.
I
saw a
hope
picture of it. I didn't think it was actually real, though.
Oh, that better become a professional sports league. Oh, that would be so amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, Creature, Invited Cracker would like to hear some Japanese.
どんなことから言ったらいいでしょうか? I just said, I said, well, where do I start? What do you want me to say? It's one of those.
That wasn't hard.
So I see any thing you'd like to hear in particular.
I'm looking at the chat myself as well.
Any day now, I'll see. I know there's a latency.
Teach us some swear words in Japanese.
Good one. Okay. How's kusottare?
We're gonna have
This
to
will be
then.
funny listening to the Americans trying to say some Japanese.
About all I know is that whenever you have a drink, you should definitely say chin chin.
Means cock. Yeah, the one I just put in the chat, kusottare, it means like dribbling shit, which is it's a fantastic insult.
So runny, essentially. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It's great.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I learned a little bit of Japanese in school. Like, I mean, I can count to 10 and I can say konnichiwa and all that sort of stuff, and like Omar-san and Opa-san. I think Omar-san's grandma, is it? And Opa-san's granddad or something like that.
Yeah, close enough. You got Oba-chan, grandmother, Oji-chan.
Yeah, that's the one. Opa-chan. Sorry, yeah.
See, as Creature says it, I know I've heard them from anime, basically, when he says it. I heard that.
Yeah. Iggy, next time you're on, you are definitely going to speak Hebrew to us, that's for sure. You can be the Hebrew French Canadian.
There's a request from IC saying, "No, officer, you're drunk."
So most of the time,
9 o'clock in the morning.
so can the Japanese not hold a lot of liquor? Because it seems like I know every time my dad goes over there for work trips and he goes out and they do the shabu shabu places and everybody's having drinks and all that good stuff, that a couple beers in, they're pretty gone.
Sure thing. Yeah, well, I mean, genetically speaking, on a whole, the Mongoloid, the Asian Homo sapien, doesn't handle liquor as well as the Anglo or other races. But yeah, that said, I mean, some people can drink under the table.
So like go over there and like make that like a side business, just doing drinking contests every weekend. Okay.
That was by far the most technical answer I would have ever expected out of that, too.
I
don't know
thought I
how
had
much-
you're lined up.
I don't know how much money you'd make out of it, but come give it a try.
Well, Creature is an educated man, don't forget.
I like to make I like to sound like I am.
It's half the battle sometimes.
More than.
Yep. So, kind of on a more serious topic, one of the things we thought we talked about this week was how to deal with the balance between family, real life versus gaming time and all that. So how do people balance that? Is it a problem? Is it something that we need to focus on one way or the other more? You want to kick us off there, Creature?
Okay. Well, I find myself in a place where, like, gaming is an indulgence, and it's not something that a grown man should do. A grown man's got responsibilities, and I get all kinds of guilt and other shit from this. Correct me.
What do you mean correct you? Like say you're wrong?
Am I? Damn it! Am I right?
No. I mean, everybody has to have their hobby, right? I mean, I don't think you can say it's necessarily worse. A hobby that's worse than another. I mean, I know there's people out there that feel like all of their time should be productive, right? That it should be doing something, either they're producing something or they're learning something or betterment or anything like that. But if it's how you enjoy the free time that you have, it's how you enjoy the free time that you have. If it starts to intrude upon your responsibilities and keep you from being a good dad or a good father, or it's making you angry because of how what's going on in the game, especially if it's like PvP and things like that. You see people get ultra competitive and you take that out on your family. Well, then I think you need to reassess where you're going with it. But I mean, it's just like TVs or movies. It's an interactive form of those of entertainment. I don't see how it isn't everybody's form of entertainment when it comes to sitting down and enjoying a story or something like that, because you get to play through it and be a part of it and take control of it and have agency over it. So I don't think there's anything inherently wrong about gaming. I mean, if you're one of those people that just feels like your time should always be productive, then maybe it's not for you, but I can't imagine that it's any better or worse than any other form of entertainment when it comes to some sort of morality play with it. I agree, so I know I'm right.
Drinking
that was a good one. All right, thank you. I guess it's, at what point does it invade on other things? I can only be really vague about my kind of want for more information there. King, what do you got?
I mean, firstly, just to say that I think people can take nearly anything too far.
Yeah.
And that almost anything you could be doing, if you're doing it to the point where you're doing it when you can or should be doing something else, like if you're ignoring people so that you can continue gaming.
Or calling into work sick for a month to play Skyrim when it comes out.
What I did was on the day that Destiny launched, I let my wife go on a 6-week holiday to Europe with her parents.
I like it how you say let.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I wasn't able to go with them, but I found a way to cope as best I could.
Did any calls take place during those 6 weeks, or was it just like, oh, you're back 6 weeks later?
I'm level 30 now.
Yeah, right. There's no way you were level 30 after 6 weeks.
No,
it took like 4 months to get a pair of boots to drop in the beginning. Fucking weird.
That might have been just you, Baha. No, there were regular video calls. And luckily I was in a clan of understanding people who I said, I'm getting a call from my wife, I'm just going to go and hide in a corner. They went, yeah, okay.
Sounds right.
Yeah, so Creature, the way I kind of always looked at is, people can spend their time reading or just watching TV or sitting down and watching a movie. To me, gaming is actually challenges me and works my brain more, so I actually look at it as almost a way of exercise in different parts of my brain that I don't do it during the day, and it serves as a good stress relief after a really crappy day, getting on, shooting something in the face, or just doing something that's kind of just relaxing and semi-monotonous depending on the game, or just hanging out with the guys in the clan in the chat, and usually peps up my day and feel better at the end. And
it's always good to hear when people say it's relaxing to get on and shoot someone in the face.
much more relaxing. Much more relaxing than body shots too.
Yeah, especially if you have Firefly. How relaxing is it to watch that shit blow up? Oh, I feel great afterwards.
Someone in the band chat recently,
But no, I
posted
don't think.
a cartoon.
I just don't think, especially like you see games like The Last of Us and other things that are moving the genre forward a little bit in terms of storytelling, and I don't think there's anything inherently childish about it.
There's nothing childish about The Last of Us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't think there's anything inherently childish about picking up a controller and playing through a story, more so than a book or a movie or anything else like that. In terms of productivity for your mind, well, yeah, I don't know that you're getting as much out of that as if you're reading, a history book or something like that, maybe, but nonetheless, I mean, as a choice for how you apply it to your free time, I don't think there's anything moral about it, wrong or the other. But like King said, there's nothing on earth that you can't get addicted to, that can form some sort of dependency upon. And whether it's chemical or otherwise, and moderation is absolutely the key of the game when it comes to anything. I mean, if you don't moderate yourself, it doesn't matter what it is. You can fall into, like an MMO game or drugs or anything. You can find a level that's not healthy for your life and the balance for your life. And that's certainly true when you're a father, man. And especially, like, my wife's pregnant right now, and she's going through the sickness. She feels sick constantly. She has nausea constantly, and I would be a derelict father if I wasn't paying more attention to her right now and helping out more and taking more of my time away from gaming to be there for her when she needs me. But I don't think that has anything to do with the medium itself. You know what I mean?
I think perspective comes into it quite a lot. And someone posted the cartoon in the chat recently where there's like 3 panels of a lady looking at her phone in various scenarios, and then the bottom panel is the guy looking at his computer, and she's poked her head around the corner and going, you must be addicted to gaming.
Yeah. Yeah, it just looks on Facebook.
Moderation is another success.
Yeah.
Well, that does. As somebody who doesn't even have a Facebook account, it amazes me how much time people can spend on Facebook and things like that. Just amazing.
Yep.
Well, another way to look at it too is, I look back at gaming because I've had computers in the house since I can remember. I had a Nintendo since I was maybe 5, and
Christmas '86.
Right. So, like, I've got a lot of, like, really good memories growing up and, like, playing games with my father and things like that. So it was, not a way to bond with him and do all this fun, stuff. And I'm doing that now with my son. And, it's a great way to kind of start to, form those fun memories and bonds. So it's just a whole other way to look at it. You can't do that necessarily the same with a book or watching a movie or TV show.
I was an only child and a military brat. So, like, I didn't have brothers and sisters to play with, and a lot of times we would be at a new town, a new school, and I wouldn't know anybody. So, like, games were my thing, man. Those were what I had to go get lost in, and find a way to enjoy my time and all that good stuff. I mean, so I don't know. They've always been very, very passionate for me because for a long time I felt like games were the only friend I had when I was really young. So, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, cool. I'm really grateful for all your input. I think I was probably key in getting this topic pushed onto the list with a couple of concerns that I had.
Does your girlfriend feel like maybe you play a little bit too much or something like that?
Yeah, that's what's going on.
A lot of times I find those sort of thoughts come from other people who aren't involved in gaming, like just don't get it themselves. They'll have some sort of stigma attached to it. I mean, I know exactly what you're talking about. That's one. Oh my God, one of the things I absolutely love about my wife. She was the one girl with the 3 brothers, and one of the brothers especially loved the game, so she got it. She understood that it can be a worthwhile pastime and hobby for you, and you can take great enjoyment and get great fulfillment from some of the stories and things like that. Oh my God, did anybody play Secret of Mana when they were a kid? Just out of curiosity. Love Secret of Mana, man. But you know what I mean? There's nothing inherently bad about that as a hobby or anything like that. That was one of the things that made me But man,
sure.
it does seem like there's a lot of the girls out there, or that I think will put a stigma on it. So
Sure. I don't know if it's the games themselves. I think just listening to those few responses, it's definitely the issue of moderation.
Yeah.
I'll say, yeah, I'll be done in 20 minutes, and then it's like wipe, and then it's like, well, shit, I got to go cash in bounties, and then 40 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour later, I'm the bad guy. I've been dishonest, and all of that, So
the
work in progress.
The easiest game to do that. To just go, I'm just going to play for a set amount of time. It doesn't lend itself to doing that.
No pause button, huh?
Have you ever done
you can play Rocket League. You can set yourself, I'm going to play 10 minutes of Rocket League, 20 minutes or whatever, and you can do it because it's.
Have you ever played
the other night?
Civilization
2 hours.
Have you ever played Civilization before?
Me, yeah.
That is the absolute worst game for saying, "Oh, just one more round, just one more turn. I'll be done. I just want to get to the the 13th century, and I'm done.
Ooh, new tech, new units.
Yeah.
Okay, back into the land room.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm building the Statue of Liberty, baby. I'll be there in 20 minutes.
Rock, you got anything to say on the subject?
Well, I'm not doing the best at balancing it at the moment because, as most people know, I got really sick February last year, and I haven't really been able to. I'm probably able to get back to work, but it's just a matter of finding work. At the moment, there's not really any job I can go back to up here at the moment that pays enough to put the little one in childcare. So
right.
I spend like my entire day, all day, every day at home, and I love being at home with my daughter and everything, but sometimes you just need that. You just need that alone time. Something to get you away from everything else. And I find that gaming's always been that thing for me. How it lets you forget about what everything else that's going on, and it lets you go somewhere else that's got none of that going on. But Baha's freaking out at the moment.
Oh no, because I know what you mean.
He's got a cramp in his foot.
Baha was freaking
look at our
out.
biology, man. You look at human biology, and we spend our days doing exactly the opposite of what we were fucking made to do, right? We're hunter-gatherers, and we sit around in desks all fucking day. You know what I mean? We do nothing on a day-to-day basis in general that we were built or made or evolved to do. And actually, on my beliefs, I should be saying that we evolved to do. But so you get in the game and you enter this other world that I think fulfills in a lot of ways your hunter and gatherer kind of instincts, these mammalian instincts that you have to for adventure and feeling like you're getting outside of yourself and getting involved in a world more tuned into kind of what you naturally are as an animal. I think that's a big thing. One of the reasons why, I don't know that games feel more real, but sometimes you do feel like you can be more of your real self playing a game than you can even just living life on a day-to-day basis, if that makes sense. I'm a freaking accountant, okay? There is nothing about my DNA that fits into being an accountant, but there's a whole lot about my DNA that fits about running around on Mars and jumping from hills to hills and blasting shit and hunting. It fulfills any number of just natural, primal kind of urges.
Yeah,
still in that virtual space, but still, yeah.
It hits the dopamine just right.
Oh my god, it gets flowing. It really does.
Yeah.
Like a little
Yeah,
drip.
like I mean, I think my biggest struggle at the moment is ever since I got sick. Like I mean, it's some people might understand, some people might not. Like I mean, it's kind of been my biggest struggle for the last ever since then was just trying to get my head, my mental self back into the right frame of mind. Like I mean, ever since then, I'm comfortable in saying that I haven't been. I won't say mentally unstable because that's just normal, but like in the right kind of mental state of mind sort of thing. Like I mean, I'm just because it's almost like ever since then, that moment when I got sick, every time I was just getting to a point in my life when everything was going really well. I'd started a job like not a month before that, like a week and a half into it, and the boss is coming and saying to me, "We want to put you through management training," and I'm like, "Sweet, let's do it."
That's a scary thought.
And literally 2 days before I got sick, I'd been certified on, like, I suppose you could say a quarter of the training, and then I got sick, and a year and a half later, I probably won't be able to go back to that job, because if I go back there, we'll be losing money because we'll have to put Bella into childcare, and the childcare up here costs so much, so I can't make enough to be worth putting her back in. So it's back down to the.
Unbelievable.
I've got to try and find a job where I can work, still get back into. Get back into. Sorry, I'm just laughing at my little one. She's bloody rock climbing over a friggin' gate at the moment. But yeah, like I mean, trying to get back into work.
Rock climb. That's what I'm taking.
Back in that working frame of mind, and where everything seems like it's getting back to normal. Yeah, still be able to stay home with the little one, because like I mean, long story short, things have just been happening in my life since I started working. I'd get to a point where everything's going really well. Like I mean, before I came to Emerald, I was a civil construction labourer, and I did that for nearly 5 years. And I was almost finished it, and then the owner of the company pretty much said, "Fuck off." So I never got to finish it. And I mean, I suppose that when I got sick last year, it was just another list of things that went wrong as things were starting to go right. So I mean, getting the balancing family and gaming at the moment still a bit of a hard thing for me. And like I mean, I struggle because at the moment I've got nowhere near as much energy as I used to. And yet, as you all know, looking after a 2-year-old baby isn't exactly, she's not 2, but nearly, isn't exactly an easy thing to do. So,
No.
but yeah, like I mean, the missus being a teacher and everything, I mean, she works friggin' nearly, as soon as she gets up, when she's eating her bloody breakfast, she's working, for goodness sake, and when she goes to bed, she's thinking about work. So I mean, it's kind of I'm struggling to be a half decent housewife, I suppose you could say, or house husband, I suppose you could say. But yeah, so it's kind of it's my release, but it's hard to balance that and making sure you're doing everything you need to be doing at home.
Mm.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. I mean, my wife is working full time at the moment. I'm working, three days a week, a couple of nights during the week when there's time where it minimises the amount of time where we have to ask anyone else to help look after our daughter. And it's just another thing about balancing your life. I mean, video games aside, life is full of the balances and choices that you make. And it's just the realities of having a child is that you can't both work full time.
Yeah.
Because Bella's not going to sit there and play video games and look after herself.
That would be awesome, but no.
Anyway.
if Bella could sit here and play video games and look after herself, that'd be wicked.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky in that we have, at my house, kind of a more traditional, or I don't know what you want to call it, setup where, I go to work, my wife stays home and takes care of the kid, and I think we gave up some income by doing it that way, but it does allow for my wife and I to have like a little more free time to ourselves. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm not at home all day or, with the kid. When I get home, I can help out with the kid and she has a little more free time. By the same token, since I go to work, she'll do, she'll devote herself more to things around the house and taking care of Emmy and things like that. So I think it's a little bit easier for me because of the way my wife and I have our household set up, and you're responsible for this, I'm responsible for that, so when your free time is. Like, one of the reasons I play with the Aussies is I get up at 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m. on Saturdays and Sundays so I can play with the Aussies, so that when my daughter is up, I'm free to get with her because I've played that morning and done that. So it allows me to schedule my life a little bit better and make sure that I've scheduled that free time. But I think that's part of the balance too, right? Is figuring out your schedule and setting up the time that you're going to be available. But if you're not available and because of what you have going on with family, that's got to always be your priority, or it should.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that's kind of come down to it with me is, like, Wednesday nights and usually Thursday nights, those are gaming nights, and those are kind of the nights where it's not expected I'm going to sit down and spend time with my wife, and she actually works part-time out of the house, so those are nights that she dedicates to that kind of stuff usually, except for tonight because I've got 2 computers tied up at the moment, so she can't work. But so those are my nights, and then every other night is kind of up for grabs, in terms of what we'll do, and a lot of times it'll be, ask her before the kids go to bed, so what do you want to do tonight? Does she have to work? In which case I'll game that night. If not, we'll spend time together.
Yeah.
So some of it's the pre-planning. You plan for the night to be gaming instead of the whole, it'll be 20 minutes, then 3 hours later you're kind of
Come here, sweetie.
pulling yourself up off the floor, because that does tend to happen. Especially
but
playing with people.
when I met my missus, I met her down in Brisbane and everything. And the whole plan was, when we found out that she was getting transferred here, the whole plan was that I was going to try and get a mining job, and that way I'd be able to, it'd be me, I'd be the one working, and the missus would be the one staying at home. And that's, like I said before, I love spending a lot of time with my little one, but I would have more preferred it if the missus could spend all day, every day at home looking after the little one, because, being a teacher, she's a lot more capable to do these sorts of things than I am. But, I try, but obviously I'm not doing it as anywhere near as well as she does, would. But
as a man, there's always going to be a little bit more of a weight of expectation in terms of being the one who has the income.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily a full-time thing, and it's a tiny little thing, but you know that it's there, and it's hard to reconcile within yourself how you feel about being in a situation that you're in.
I wouldn't mind it one bit if I was working. If I was the only one working and the missus got to stay at home and play around with the little one all day, because she'd absolutely love every minute of it. But it's like I said, when we moved up here, things kind of didn't plan out anywhere near the way we were hoping them to. But again, like we were saying before, that's life. It's, apart from baseball, it's the most common place you'll find a freaking curveball getting thrown at you.
Yep. Leave it to the Aussie to drop the baseball analogy.
It always does seem, though, like when everything's going right, that's when shit's about to get you. Like, if you ever feel like, oh, man, everything's just working out, I got this on point, this on point, this on point, like, that's when you better keep your head on a swivel, because something's coming for you. Always seems like that for whatever reason.
Yeah. Oh, it's got a little boomerang. That's so like racist or something.
Racist? What?
Oh, freak.
Get that drop paper.
It's alright, this drop bear won't hurt you, Baha.
I have to remember, y'all really had me going to drop bears for real for a while.
I think I started that.
Yeah, you fucking
I
did.
think I started that with you, didn't I? We were doing a raid one day, and
Yeah. Y'all had me going, man, for a month. And then Sly had some pictures or something like that.
Yeah,
I'm believing in drop bears.
chat that. And that was right around the time the whole Blue Waffles incident happened.
yeah.
Some things cannot be.
Sorry, the missus threw that little one to me then, and I just couldn't help myself.
So Beowulf wants to know if y'all have your own kangaroo.
As surprising as it is, kangaroos are actually a pest here in Australia. Like, I'm not exactly in the outback, but I'm central Queensland. I'm only 3-4 hours from the coast, depending on how quickly you want to do the speed limit. But technically, here in Australia, they're a pest. Like, you get a lot of people where I live, especially.
Populations fluctuate, so sometimes they have a high population and they actually have to be cold.
Yeah, well, I was getting to that. There's
really
basically like the seasons hunting seasons that you have in America and things like that. You've got certain times of the year when a lot of people actually out here have hunting dogs and things like that they use specifically for hunting. So like pigging and things like that, they go out further out west and they go hunting pigs and kangaroos and all that sort of things. But so you're allowed to actually go out and hunt them as much as you like at certain times of the year, like when the missus was saying their population fluctuates. But
What do they taste like?
They go good in
I don't
sausages.
know. I've never had kangaroo.
They're very
Gamey,
gamey.
the missus was saying. Yeah.
They're a bit like deer.
Right.
Kind of like venison? Gotcha.
I see. Now.
Good in sausages. Better than the steaks.
Man, what is not good in sausage?
Crap.
I'm just saying, gator sausage is good. You can make freaking sausage out of anything, it seems
Never
like.
had alligator sausage either. Alligator either.
It's good. It tastes good.
Alligator is delicious.
Yeah, it tastes good, man. Especially the sausage version. I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
had that in Canada of all places.
Where'd you get gator in Canada?
Niagara Falls.
That's weird.
Yeah, I know.
This our idiot down here in Texas who jumped into the water with the sign saying "Beware of Gator" and was promptly killed.
Well, after making fun of it first.
Yeah. He's like, "Fuck that gator!" Jumped in the water and was dead 10 seconds
I
later.
heard about you talking. I heard you were talking about that.
What?
Uh,
Part of the problem is
We had another idiot up near base, I believe, or I think he might have been in Maine, that on the 4th of July launched one of those giant fireworks off the top of his head and was instantaneously killed.
Yeah. There wasn't much of a head left.
Yeah, that's what his brother said. He's like, there's nothing to bury. Gee, that's not good.
Can't imagine the amount of alcohol that took.
I know, right? Like, how drunk do you have to... I've done some stupid shit when I was drunk, but that's just the whole nother ball game right there of stupid.
Yeah, that's for damn sure.
I've ended up with injuries. I always called them, like, battle scars, Like, got a good battle scar from last night, cut, like, jumping through some bushes or some stupid shit, but... Setting off a
you're not
pyrotechnic on top of
having
your
sex
skull.
with your missus. You're not talking about battle scars with the missus.
Oh, no, nothing like that. Nothing like that. I don't think I've gotten any from her.
it's not going to
Actually,
show us.
that's not true. One time we were in New Orleans and we were getting really, really drunk, and I can't remember what we got into a fight about, but she was standing across from me and she took her cigarette out of her mouth and just flicked it at me. That bitch flew, hit me right in the cheek, and just stuck there, the cherry. It was just burning into my skin, man. And this
Naturally more flammable?
And this cop, he saw it happen, and he comes running over there, and he's like, Miss, he's like trying to tell her that she can't do that. And she's like, you don't know what he said. He's a fucking asshole. Like, getting into the cop's face. And he's like, oh, I understand, miss, but you still can't put a cigarette out on his face. Oh, it was funny. Yeah. That's not the only battle scar I've gotten from the wife that I can think of. Yeah.
I was expecting better, to be honest.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like one burnout cigarette. That's about it.
Yeah.
It healed nicely, I think, too. No scars.
Alrighty. So we get to the bottom of everything there for you, Creature?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, I feel a little smarter. I feel a little more at ease with the world.
Good.
It's good. Good. We can get back. Across cultures and.
So the girlfriend doesn't play with you. I'm taking it, Creature.
No. I think I mentioned to some of you guys the last thing I played before Destiny was Candy Crush, and that was. Yeah.
Oh,
I should show you my closet. The decades of games that are in there.
We get into a little bit of casual mobile gaming. I think we're playing some piano simulator at the moment, and a game that I posted in the band some time ago, the Gravity thing where you draw things on the screen and then gravity works on them and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, that looked really cool. What was that called again?
Yeah. Q.
It looked really cool, though.
It's good fun. But all the AAA stuff is me going solo, and actually that's just Destiny. I get whatever comes on PS Plus for the month and have like a go at that for 2 hours, but just Destiny with you guys. It's good.
Yeah, it sucks up a lot of time.
Apart from, I think the latest good PS Plus game that's come out is that bloody Rocket League, and I played that for like 5-10 minutes the other day, and I've noticed for a while that there's not exactly a lot of decent stuff that comes out on PlayStation Plus for PS4 very often.
Well, certainly the first 2 years. I bet you it's going to be like PS3 towards the end when they started, giving the free games out. We'll get things that are a year or two old, but are AAA ones. I bet you that's coming, but
yeah,
year two of the life cycle. I don't think that's
We do need to get a.
I think that what they've offered for free so far has been fair for what they're charging.
Yeah.
I find myself concerned, Creature, that we might be affecting your expectations. Just so you know, I've played plenty of AAA games, but I've never ended up in a video call with a bunch of Americans before. That won't happen.
Sure, no. It's much more than simply playing a game, and I think I commented on that comic that was going around. It's like the missus will look over, and I've either got Band open, or I've got Reddit open, or I've got Bungie.net open. And she's like, when you're not playing that thing, you're checking something about it. But I don't know. Let's keep it positive. Let's try to shift the conversation onto the cool part about that. And it's like you can stay connected on so many levels. I read stories on Reddit still of people who are solo in the game, and they're relying on LFG for their multiplayer component, and they keep getting bad groups, and they're just frustrated. And I mean, that was me. And then Eggers, I played that one game with Eggers on the moon, and then it's like all of a sudden there was like chat, and then I watched the podcasts go up, and little by little, putting faces to names and all of that. And today's another chance.
Yeah.
Did you appreciate Bringers the first time we went into Vault of Glass on your first drop?
Say again?
Didn't you get 2 Fate Bringers the first time we brought you into Vault of Glass?
I think that was the second character. It might have been the second week.
See,
but,
that's yeah, that's right. It was the second character, but the first time in Vault of Glass. That's how you. That's why you wanted to be with us. That's
yeah.
Like go with these guys and I get 2 Fate Bringers. I love them. Makes sense.
Yeah. No, I think I was still new back then. And another thing that's cool, if I can touch on that, I'm here. I'm in the video chat with a bunch of Americans. And
technically, there's 3 Aussies and 2 Americans, so the bunch.
All right.
I'd say a couple at this point, but I get you.
But there's more in the chat. What's up, dudes?
Yep.
But I'm not the new guy anymore. I'm one of the boys. It's great.
Right.
Very much so. Yeah. I think one of the coolest things about our clan in particular is, I don't know, everybody's taken you were talking about band. There's just like a lot of communication between us all. Like everybody's really close. It's.
Yeah. I wonder how groups that don't have that component.
There's not a lot of cliques. There's some guys, a lot of people spend time in their raid groups, but everybody still plays all with everybody, and everybody really gets along and really cares about each other, successes and failures in real life and otherwise. So, it's a good thing. As an only child, I love it personally. It's nice having a bunch of guys like this.
What's up, King?
I've got to be off, but I will online, and this was fun. We'll do it again sometime.
Sure.
Good stuff, King, man. Good seeing you, dude.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's later, King.
Yeah. Props for the Mass Effect hoodie too.
See you Saturday.
See you there. Bye.
Yeah, as Creature was saying, I think I'm in a similar boat to King. I've played a lot of AAA titles. When I was living at home, the only thing I had to spend my money on was video games. So, I played a lot of AAA titles, and none of them would have lasted anywhere near as long as Destiny. And I don't think Destiny would have even lasted as long as it had if it didn't have the social aspect. If I was one of those people that was doing LFG groups and things like that, mate, I would have given up. But 4 months into it, I'm like, I'm not doing this crap. This isn't worth it.
You'd have ran the raid like one time and been done.
Yeah, I would have gone, no, I can't deal with this. I did enough of it in bloody World of Warcraft, and I'm not doing it again. But I think that's probably the best thing about it, is because it's got such a social aspect, especially with the band we've got, with everyone being as close as they are. It just seems like it doesn't seem like you're playing a video game with a bunch of strangers. It seems like you're playing a video game with all your mates that are sitting in the same house as you, except they're in the room next door, and then there's one in the next room, and then there's one in the next room. These are all. It's like as if you're professionally split screening, so each other doesn't cheat. Like you're all playing in different rooms of the house.
Right.
We use the word brotherhood a lot, and I don't think
it's crazy. This is the first social myself, and it's changed everything.
Yeah. I love how often we break out the word brotherhood, and that we're not joking about it either. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, it will be interesting.
This is a massive part of my social life. Ever since I got sick, I haven't been. I don't have any male friends here where I live. Even female friends. It's my wife and my daughter, and that's it. So this is my social life.
Yeah, especially
where I talk to all my friends and all that sort of stuff.
You get to be an adult with kids and a wife and all that stuff, and there's just not a lot of time to have close friends that you spend a lot of time with outside of work and things like that. There's people have so much stuff going on, trying to get your schedules lined up and stuff like that. There's friends I have here that I'll see once every 6 months or so, just because that's when we can get free to from what everybody has going on. But but you know, because we all have such similar interests and likes and things like that, it's just so easy for all of us to kind of participate in each other's lives and be a part of each other's lives, man. It's an awesome thing. Not just that, man. When people have tough stuff going on in their life, you get quality conversation. You know, Bass in the last couple months has had some horrible shit go on around him.
Yep.
And I thought that was one of the nights when that all went down that everybody really had some quality conversation about life and what was going on. So, you know, it's nice that we're there when it's all fun and we're just talking about games or movies or whatever. But when it gets serious, we've all been there for each other, and that's awesome to see.
Yeah, that was kind of crazy because it was, you know, that all that stuff happened and it was just you just don't know how to react to it, and so it was just throw something out in band saying, hey, anybody have any idea what to do with this? Because I can't even process it yet. And you know, people reached out and had immediate help, and it was actually help in a way that I could then go help my family. So it was nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to hear that.
Yeah.
And hopefully other people's families too with that situation.
Yeah, they're doing better. So.
Relatively speaking, I'm sure.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure. But.
Something you said a moment ago, Bass, that it's changed. You know, I think the dynamic of games throughout has changed. You know, with the event of Destiny for the masses, there was the MMO crowd before, but for that to be like, you know, front and center, a shooter. And for that to take on that social aspect and the kind of the hype that you hear about Destiny having the friendly community rather than a hostile community.
Yeah, this isn't Call of Duty's community by any stretch, right?
Well, as Icy's point out right now, he put up a GoFundMe to help get custody of his kid, and the clan helped raise over $1,000 to make that happen. You know, that's the kind of clan this is, and that's why we're all part of it still.
Yeah.
So, it's a good group of guys. Now, what's actually going to be interesting is if we actually pull off one of these PAX or Comic-Con get-togethers, just to see if we're all awkward in person.
Well,
first
of all, I'm awesome in person. I'm a great person to bring to parties. First of all, that's not even for debate. But anyways, why does this have to be like? You figure we would be having a kid literally like a month before PAX. I'm curious if I can talk the wife into letting me go and her stay back with a 1-month-old, 2-year-old. We'll see if it can happen.
Fly her wife or her parents into town, and then tell her you have to go on a business trip.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't tell her a lie. That's dangerous. Because let me say, if your wife ever figured out that you went on a trip that was different from the one that you told her of, I'm pretty sure she's not going to think it was to go hang out with gaming buddies. You know what I mean?
You've just got to go. You've just got to get some jobs on in Boston before you go.
I go there about once a year for work, so I don't know. Maybe try to finagle something.
Yeah,
I was talking to the missus last night, and like for as long as I've played video games, I've always wanted to go to San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
And it'd be just one of them things that once in my lifetime I'd just love to do it. But like I was talking to her the other day about the whole PAX thing. And I mean, I think I worked it out roughly when Bass told me the price of the tickets and everything. I think if I went there just for the 2 to 3 days, it'd cost me about 1,600 Australian for return tickets, and then you've got food, accommodation, and then the tickets for the actual venue. So I don't know, guesstimate around $2,500 sort of thing.
Yeah.
It cost me to go there, and I mean, as much as I'd love to do it, unless I got a really good paying job tomorrow, I don't think I'd be able to afford to go there. But as much as I'd love to, and then having brought up the other day about apparently there's one happening in Melbourne soon. So I think that'd be a more closer, realistic goal to try and get to that one. But but it all depends on the amount of our Aussie contingent that would get there.
Yeah.
Maybe we can do
I think the real
Creature one day.
Hey?
I've said maybe we'll do the Tokyo Game Show with Creature one day.
Yeah, I think TGS is much like E3. It's industry only, but and the cosplay events and stuff are a little bit freaky over here. Not quite the same vibe as the American events or the Western events.
What?
But
So there's
I think the real question is how many
walking around?
how many North Americans would make it down to Australia?
Probably not that many.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. All right.
Eventually.
Does anyone else got anything else to add before we bring this to an end?
I think we went through the topic list, right?
I think so, and then some.
Covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's amazing. These things are always so much fun. It's like every time we get on here, people are like, oh, we've done this like 5 times now, and people get on there and like, oh man, that was way more fun than I thought it was going to be, and we always end up talking way longer than you would think based on the topic list. But
right, we had how did we get Aussies, drop bears, and family, and somehow we've been going for about hour 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So
Drop bears are a fun topic, mate. What can I say?
Well, as usual, we end up spending our time talking about like the serious stuff though, like family and gaming, and
Right.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Everybody cares about one another, so those are the sort of topics that we end up spending time on.
Yep. Alrighty. With that, we'll bring it to a wrap. So, everybody, thanks for jumping in and hanging out with us tonight. We'll catch you next time.
I need to go spend the rest of the day making it up to the missus, so.
Hey, B-Rob, don't forget we got to have enough people on for Saturday to get 3 through some raids.
Keep talking.